This homeschool year is going to look completely different than our previous years. Not because we're really doing anything different, but because we are sending 4 out of our 5 kids to the hybrid homeschool this year. And I just filmed a video about the homeschool planner that I'm going to be using this year. If you would like to see that video, I will link to it up above for you. But I thought while I was kind of thinking about our plans for the upcoming year, I might as well just sit down and share with you guys our plans for the 2019-2020 homeschool year. If you're new to my channel, I am Michelle, and this is A Common Life. I'm a homeschooling mom of 5 kids. I have my youngest son is going into kindergarten. Then I have a 3rd grader, a 4th grader, a 7th grader, and an 8th grader, which means it's his last year in middle school. That is insane. Like, I need to start thinking transcripts and credits and oh my goodness, like, yikes. I can't believe that I have like a 5-year-old and then a kid that has 1 more year until he's in high school. That is absolutely insane to me. But I wanted to share with you guys my plans for this upcoming year because like I said, they are very, very different. So I am not actually going to go in age order. I'm going to start in the middle with our son, Gregory. So Gregory, as you may know, if you've been on my channel for any amount of time, Gregory has a couple of complications in his life. He has Crohn's disease and 2 liver diseases. So he, this past year, has had a million doctor's appointments for blood works and labs, and he had a biopsy, and he had an MRI and ultrasounds and x-rays and regular doctor's appointments. And so it's been a lot. It has been a lot. And on top of that, which isn't really related, but he also has dyslexia, which makes homeschool reading and writing specifically for him very difficult, very arduous. Like, it takes him much longer to do things than it would take a normal 4th grader. He is very, very bright. And so he has that to his advantage that he can kind of remember anything that he hears. And he's also very good at math. And so academically, he's honestly doing just fine. It just takes him longer to do what it would take, an average 4th grader to do. Now, because of this combination between the dyslexia and then all the health issues, we are not sending him back to the hybrid homeschool. He ended up going just for the spring semester last year, and it was honestly a total utter disaster. It did not go well at all. He was dealing with some obvious health issues, but also kind of some frustration and anger issues that were related to that. He was having a very hard time regulating his emotions, I think just because he really did not feel well. And so that did not help his experience in the school at all. And then the dyslexia, he just can't at this point keep up because the hybrid homeschool is an accelerated school and he just really can't keep up with it. So they told us that if we wanted to send him, we could, but we'd have to keep him back a grade. And we're like, no, there's no reason to keep him back a grade because he is academically just as smart, if not smarter than a lot of other kids his age, but he just can't do it at the same speed. And so because of that and because of his health issues, we are keeping him home this year. So he will be home with me. And that means when my other kids are all at the hybrid homeschool on Mondays and Wednesdays, I will be able to dedicate that time to working with him specifically on the reading, writing, spelling, and things like that. I'm going to be dedicating hours every week to work on that with him. On top of that, he will also be taking different classes. We're going to be doing science classes almost every week. I'm hoping to get him into an art class. He really likes art. And I'm going to kind of see whatever else there is going on. We also do a book club and different other clubs. I'm not sure if he's going to do a fall sport yet. We're going to have to play it by ear and see what he wants to do. But we're going to try to keep him busy doing different things, different activities, just because he is a very social child and I don't want him to be left out or feel left out and all of that. He's going to be in a choir as well. So yeah, I mean, he's going to definitely have lots of things going on. He'll be able to be interacting with other children on a regular basis. So it's not like he's just going to be isolated at home, but it is going to be different because I would say that historically, I don't know, it's kind of a weird word, but he has been our most social child. But having these different health difficulties has made it a little bit different for him. He's a little more tentative and more nervous than he used to be. And so I think it'll be a good year to kind of like transition him, get him used to his new diet, his new lifestyle and all of that. And then give him, smaller, shorter opportunities to hang out with people rather than having to be gone like full days at a time. I will be sharing all of his curriculum in a separate video. I'm going to be doing a video for every single one of my children. I decided I was just going to break it up this year and do one video for each grade level. I thought that would be the most helpful to you guys because you don't all have kids my kids' ages, and to have to sit through like a 45-minute long video about all this curriculum, it seems silly. So I'm going to just break it down in separate videos. So be looking for that. Once I have those videos up, I will have it linked to up above here for you guys to go ahead and check out, but it's probably not there yet. So now I'm going to go through all the kids that are doing the hybrid homeschool. So Eric, our 5-year-old, this is the very first year that he is going to be doing any type of school outside of the house. We were going to put him in preschool last year. I made a video about why we are not sending him to preschool. I'll link to that up above for you guys. We decided not to send him to preschool, and he did really well last year. He's starting to read, and he's 5 years old, which is fantastic. That makes me really excited. So yeah, he's going to be going to the hybrid homeschool all day, Monday and Wednesday. And I'm not going to go into his curriculum or anything like that in this video, but the hybrid homeschool is just, there is no homework or anything like that. There are no extra activities besides like preparing for a show and tell. That's basically it. And so I will have to be doing on the Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, we'll have to do homeschool with him based on whatever I want to use. And so he's going to be doing basically writing, math, reading, and I guess like the spelling kind of goes along with the reading, and any other workbooks. I've talked about this before. He loves workbooks. He just I actually saw an old photo that I posted on Instagram of him hugging a workbook that I gave him because he was so excited about it. Like, he's so funny. So he will be perfectly content to do a bunch of workbooks. Oh, and handwriting, working on his handwriting. And he will be perfectly happy. So I think this is going to be a huge learning experience for him because he's hardly ever away from me. This week he's actually at a VBS Monday through Friday, like every morning, which that's the longest he's ever been away from me doing any type of like formal, it's not school, but you know what I mean, like a formal program. So I think this should be, well, I guess that's not true because we did a co-op 2 years ago and he was basically separated from me that whole day, but that did not go well. That was a disaster. That was not his fault though. That's a different story. But anyway, so I guess that's not true, but it'll be 2 days a week. And he's older now, so I think it'll be very different. I think he's going to really, really enjoy it. I'm sorry if the lighting is weird in this video. It's like the clouds keep going in front of the sun and changing it. So I'm trying to use natural light, but it isn't going that great. So I apologize for that. But let's jump in and talk about my son, John, who is my 3rd grader. He is 8 years old. And he is the one of my children who went through brain training. He had a very slow language processing speed. He really struggled, but he's very gifted. He has a very high IQ. He's very intelligent, but he just couldn't process things as fast. And he also had, I say had because I feel like he mostly doesn't have it anymore, but selective mutism, where he would just not talk sometimes. And so we had a very hard time like getting information out of him. But I have to say, he has changed so much over the last couple of years. He has really kind of like come out of his shell, and he is very social right now, which is so crazy because he wasn't that way before. He was so incredibly shy to the point where like if we went in public, he would hide behind me. And now he's like, we're in public and he's off playing with his friends or finding new friends. Like, he's just such a different child. And so he is so incredibly excited to go to the school. Like, he wants to count down the days. He cannot wait. He's so excited to make more friends. It is awesome. I am so happy for him. And so he is going to be in the 3rd grade class, which is the class that Gregory did last year. And it is basically almost all of your curriculum that you would need. You know, you can supplement things here and there. So he will have some homework. As far as I remember from last year, it wasn't that much homework, but last year it was also only a 1-day-a-week program, and this year it's a 2-day-a-week program. So it could be very different. But I think it's going to be great. I think he's going to really enjoy it. My one and only concern is that I'm worried that the math aspect is going to be too easy for him. He's very good at math and he is above grade level. So I figure if that is an issue, we have teaching textbooks at home. We'll just let him use that and he can supplement it as he needs. So I'm not worried about that, but I'm excited for him because he's really looking forward to it. And then the last 2 people are my oldest 2 children, David and Grace, who are in 8th and 7th grade. David's in 8th, Grace is in 7th. They have been going to the hybrid school now. This will technically be their 3rd school year there, but they joined halfway through the year. So they've gone for a full year and a half now, but it's going to be the 3rd year that they're there. And they really enjoyed it. I love how much it pushes them, and it is because it's accelerated and it's not easy. It is a lot of work. I know that if I were not using that school, my kids would not do as much as they're doing. So I think that's great. I'm really excited for them about that. So they will both be in the logic school. So it is a classical model. So like the lower levels are the grammar levels and then the logic levels. And so David was in the logic level last year. Now Grace and he are both in it this year in separate grades. And it is challenging. It's a lot of work, but it's really, really good. It is a really well-rounded classical education. And so I'm excited for them. I think it's going to go really well. They have a bunch of their friends are returning. And honestly, I think it's just going to go really well because they're kind of used to it now. It's just how we homeschool now. It's just what they do. And I think there were times of transition where it was harder, especially at the beginning of last year. But I think especially for David, he's matured so much and become so responsible that I really feel like it's going to go very smoothly for him this year. And yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a good year. And all of the kids are doing like some type of sports. They're all doing some type of music or choir or singing at church, serving at church, lots of different opportunities that they have. And I think if there's anything I would like to work on this year for my children, especially now that 4 of them will be at the school, I want to work on more consistent play dates. Like a play date a week would be perfect. Like one every week with a different child. Lots of our friends' families, like the ages overlap of their kids. So like generally we can usually get most people together. It kind of gets hard for either like the youngest or the oldest, like they end up being the ones that get left out. So there are some things that we'll do where I will just leave David home and he'll just read or whatever, and play on his tablet or something while we're gone. And that works fine. Obviously I don't ever leave Eric home, so he just has to come along with us, but he usually does fine too. But that's a little bit of a tangent. But I think for me personally, that's one of the things that I really, really want to work on is just being more intentional about play dates. Because when my kids were little, I was really intentional and we used to have play dates all the time. And now that I have like a teenager and a preteen, like it just changes the dynamic a little bit. So I want to work on that for sure. Like I said, I shared all about my homeschool planner in a previous video. So make sure you go ahead and check that out. I'm trying to make our homeschool year as streamlined, as simple as possible. The fact that 4 out of our 5 kids are going to go to this hybrid homeschool where all of their school work is basically assigned to them. Well, I guess 3 out of 4, 3 out of 5, 3 out of 4 of the kids that are going, which is 3 out of 5 of my children total. All of their assignments will be given to us. So I honestly don't really have any planning to do at all. I will have to do some planning for Gregory for sure. I'll have to do some planning for Eric. And then for any type of like the clubs, book clubs and things that we're doing our classes, like I'll have to plan ahead and make sure we're like reading our books when we need to be reading them and all of that. But as far as planning, my planning for this homeschool year should be the most minimal of any year that I have ever had, which is great because I know next year with David going into high school, that is definitely going to change because I'm going to have to be very diligent about absolutely everything for him, which I haven't had to be in the past. So it's crazy how fast they grow up. It's crazy because when we started homeschooling, David was 7. Was he 7? Yeah, he was 7. And now he's almost 14. That's crazy. That's so crazy. And we started halfway through the year, like we did with the hybrid school. So we're kind of off as far as like years are concerned, but this will be our 8th homeschool year, our 8th school year that we're going to be homeschooling, which I can't even believe that. But it's good. It's really, really good. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, share in the comments what you guys are doing this homeschool year, and I hope you guys have a really great day.